Creating a vendor registration form. If the system setting is turned on, vendors are able to register their company automatically in iSpec, which is then evaluated and either approved or rejected. Before vendors can register their company, the form needs to be built. The form is broken down into 4 different sections. The first in the list is the registration categories. To create a new registration category, click the Registration submenu under the Administration main menu. When vendors complete the form, they will select a category and subcategory that best categorizes their company. Right-click the Registration category node, then select Add New Registration Category. Next, select Add New Registration Subcategory. Add as many categories and subcategories as needed. On the right-hand side are the scoring, instructions and column settings. First, which users are able to score the responses while evaluating the vendor's registration form, select from everyone, or only a certain user group. Next, enter the vendor and evaluator's instructions. Enter a maximum score that can be entered when evaluating the vendor's registration form. Finally, enter the column names for the fields the vendor must complete. Any fields that are empty will be hidden in the registration form. Save the registration category information. The next step is to create the company data form. This is the main form the vendors will use to supply all the required company information. First, add a new section, enter a name, and select the user group who can score that section. Each section can have a different group scoring. Next, add the evaluation items. Enter a name, optional description, select if the information is mandatory or not. If the item is set to mandatory, the vendor cannot submit the form until they have supplied the information. If it's not mandatory, the vendor can submit the form without supplying the information. Next, select which type of information the vendor must supply. Each item can have more than one selection. Enter a maximum score, then save. After the item has been created, it can be deleted or edited by clicking the appropriate icon. Repeat the process until all sections and items have been added, and the form is ready for the vendors to complete. The next step is to add the licensing and certifications. Add the license or certificate name and save. When the vendors are completing the registration form, they can select the certificate name, and will then be required to enter additional information, for example certificate number, validity date, and attach a copy of the certificate. The final step is to add or edit the terms and conditions, and the declaration information on the registration settings page. The vendor will see the terms and conditions during the initial registration, and the declaration information on the last page before they submit their completed registration form. After the registration form and settings have been created, the vendors can register themselves from the home page.